The enticing aromas of cinnamon, cloves, and honey floated across the kitchen as Mist removed a pan from the oven. She placed the freshly baked loaf on the stovetop, leaned slightly forward, and inhaled. Ah, yes. The touch of molasses she'd put into the batter made it more intense, just as she'd predicted. Experimenting with cooking was a major passion. Even a tiny substitution could change the overall experience of food. Mist removed her oven mitts, handmade from scraps of favorite old clothes and padded with protective filling. She placed them on the kitchen counter and sat down to look over her notes. Not only had she written comments about each dish she'd tested over the past week, but she'd outlined the schedule for the next several days. Although it was her third year coordinating accommodations, meals, and activities for Christmas guests of the Timberton Hotel, this year promised to be challenging. Fortunately, Mist loved a good challenge. Since the hotel always had return guests for the holidays along with new ones, Mist had to call on her creativity to be sure everything was different from previous years. This included decorations, menus, and tiny individual touches to the rooms. Mist had made plans months before, some even a year before, to accomplish this. "Smells delicious!" Betty, the hotel innkeeper, entered the kitchen and made a beeline for the loaf now cooling on top of the stove. "What have you done with your culinary magic this time?" Betty breathed in the scent of spices. "Better yet," a second voice said. "When can we test it out?" Clive Barnes, owner of the Timberton Gem Gallery and Betty's Beau, reached out to poke the loaf with his finger. Betty slapped his hand away while Mist watched the two with amusement. "Clive!" Betty scolded. "It is a well-known fact that you have appointed yourself the town's primary taste tester, but that doesn't mean you can go around poking every baked good as if it were the Pillsbury Doughboy. Your taste tester role isn't official, you know." Clive sat at the kitchen table, an island area where Mist, Betty, and Clive often met. He sighed. "Fine. Then how about telling me what it is, and I'll try to wait patiently." He looked at Mist with an eager smile. "Give it about 10 minutes," Mist said as she transferred the loaf from the pan to a wire rack. "And it's a honey cake, basically, though I substituted a touch of molasses and added some lemon zest." "Well, count me in when it's ready to be tested," Clive said. "Meanwhile, what does a guy have to do to get a cup of coffee around this place?" He winked at Mist, though he directed the comment to Betty, who tapped her finger to her forehead before answering. "Let's see, Clive," Betty said. "You could do plenty of things for a cup of coffee. I think the front of the hotel could use a coat of paint. In fact, maybe primer first, then paint. And the trim. Let's see, there's that broken section on the west side." "Okay, I deserve that," Clive laughed. "I phrased my request poorly. I just may need a little caffeine to accomplish all that." "Please?" Betty filled 2 mugs with coffee, set one in front of Clive, and sat down beside him with the other. Mist sipped the peppermint tea she'd already poured while she waited for the honey cake to finish cooling. "We have a hectic week coming up," Betty said, looking at Mist almost apologetically. "We'll have more overnight holiday guests than usual this year, plus extra community activities. I'll help you as much as I can." Mist reached over and squeezed Betty's hand. "Thanks, Betty. Your own workload is pretty heavy. I really think everything is under control, though. We've been organizing for months. Maisie and Marge are both planning to be here during the special events. Maisie, of course, is bringing in all the floral goods through Maisie's Daisies, and Marge ordered plenty of candy through her candy store." "You're certainly right about that," Betty said. "I saw UPS deliver a second shipment yesterday. Looked like enough to keep the whole town on a 6-month sugar high." "It will help that they won't be eating it all," Mist said. She stood, checked the honey cake, cut a slice for Clive, and placed it next to his coffee mug, much to his delight. Betty turned down a piece, citing she'd save it for dessert that night.